Right then, my crafty friends, what do you think of this card? Isn't it absolutely glorious? I did say to you all that I would be going back through my crafty stash and using bits and pieces I can find, and I'll show you where this stamp came from earlier. Now, the flowers, I've just been through my stash and I found bits of flowers and bits of foliage that I've got. I've got an embossing folder down here and I'll go through that as well. But it's all about mixing and matching everything that you've got. You know me, Corinne and her flowers, it had to be done. So I hope you like this, and I'll show you how this one is made. It really is very simple. Might look more complex than the first few we did, but promise you it's really simple. Let me put that out of the way then. So the first piece of card is approximately 4.5 by 6.5 inches. So you've got that first piece, and that's going to be our base card. Now onto there, I want to put a strip of embossed card. Now you can just get a scrap or whatever you want. Now I found one of my hunky dory moonstone embossing folders. I love this. Look at this. It's like a crackle glaze, isn't it? Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? So I'm going to put my card inside there. So I don't need the whole thing because I'm going to tear it down, and that's what it's all about, having that rough edge. I'm going to get my plates, and I've just got one of my regular cutting plates. Let's get that one out. Oh, it is. I've got it now. I was looking for the one. So those two go together. Now, if you want to add in a little bit more pressure, what you can do is pop in just a sheet of card, or I'm going to put in my metal shim. So those are going to go through my die cutting machine, and I love this. You can be putting them through any die cutting machine that you've got. So here we go, that went straight through, and you can see through here. Now look at that. Look at how beautifully embossed that is. I like that side too. Both work equally as well. So let's get that out of the way. Now bring my card back in here. I'm not going to try and trim it up top and bottom to begin with. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tear, and I'm tearing from the top, and the reason I'm tearing from the top is I want this white fluffy edge. If you want, if this doesn't work for you, you can cut it with a trimmer, but I like that look. So then I'm going to work out roughly how wide I want. There's no exact way. I bet this is a different width to the one I did on the test card that I made, the demo, you know, the first card, but it's entirely up to you. So just keep ripping. And it's better not to be perfect as well. So then I'm going to get a little bit of my wet glue. Any glue, you could be using your Coral All Purpose, or, you know, a PVA, a water-based card. It's up to you. Just make sure you put enough on to get into all of those little grooves. Well, I hope you are all enjoying the cards that I've made so far. They've been a little bit different, haven't they? All of them. I'm trying to keep them a little bit different. Don't want to do two the same. I'm trying to use some different techniques as well. Right, so I put that over so that the emboss runs over the edge, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it upside down. I'm going to put my scissors up against that edge, and I'm going to trim just like that. Oh, get out of the way. And then the second one. So I'm not cutting this piece of card, but I'm just cutting that off. Absolutely perfect. Much easier than trying to cut it exactly right first time. I've over egged my glue there a little bit. That's absolutely fine. Right, so that piece can actually, I'll tell you what, I was going to put that away, but what we will do is we'll put that on to the next piece ready. So all I'm going to do is I've got another piece. Now I told you this was 4.5 by 6.5, so I've just gone up about 1/8 of an inch, just like that, just to give me a little bit of a border. So we can put that on here. And then you can do, now you'll see when I make my projects, I either go really inky, I love my inky, like you saw on that first project I did, or I like to keep it clean and simple. And this one definitely falls into the clean and simple category. There we go. And put that on to there. There we are. So that one fits lovely. So we've just got a nice slim border around the edge. Tell you what, we're going to do this in a completely different order to what I've planned. Here is the rest of my layers. So 4.5 by 6.5. went up 1/8 of an inch, and I've gone up by another 1/8 of an inch, if everything has cut right. Yes, there it has. And then up by another 1/8 of an inch for my silver. And I just think that those colours look really lovely. So what I'm going to do is I've got a card base, and again, all I did was I took a piece of A3 card, folded it in half, so it was approximately 8 1/4 high, and then I just trimmed it down just to fit. So there was no exact measurements. I just made it look like it fits. So it's actually come out at 7 1/4 by 5 1/2. There we go. Now that to me seems a bit strange because there we are, but it seems to be working. There we go. I would have thought it would have finished on the same figures because I started. Oh well, never mind. But that's roughly what I've got to, and you'll get different. I don't tend to work to standard sizes, and then I make myself an envelope when I'm ready to go. So I put that one on there. So I use my collal underneath the silver, but I'm just going to use my wet glue under my linen card. I do love using linen card for all those mats and layers because it just adds that little bit more texture. You know, this card was supposed to be project number 4, but I think it's going to be project number 3 because I just can't wait to share it with you because I love it so much. It's just crafting how I like to craft. So let's just rub that all down. Again, you get your brayer out if you want, but actually I think that's got a pretty good stick. And then what you're going to do is you're going to raise this up. Now I'm just using foam tape. I like a roller tape. I get asked about this, and I'm just in the process of sorting out some links, and I'm working out where I need to put them because there's quite a few bits and pieces people have asked me about that I use, and now I'm able to show you exactly what I use and where I get it from. So please bear with me. This is just regular foam tape I just found by doing a Google search, but I will give you some links very, very soon. Once I put that on, it's going to grab really quick, and as I told you, my mats and layers are only 1/8 of an inch. Because it's 1/8 of an inch, it's going to show if I don't get it right. There's no room for play. So I want the emboss over to the left. I have to think about that. So I'm just going to pop it. I'm just turning my card around just so that I can see. I'm going to put it there. But look, because I've put glue on that foam tape, can you see? I can feel it gripping, but it's not sticking down too fast. So I wait till I've checked it all the way round. So I'm not putting my head over the camera. There we go. And then I can press 1, oops, little fly, 2, 3, there we go. As you know, I often do tentfold cards. It's my preferred card of choice. So we've done this bit now, and we're just going to leave it, but you can see we've got 2 white layers, a little bit of height, and then my blue and my silver. But you could change that blue to any colour you want. That's a really good base. You could be making some bases like that and just leave them. Okay, so let me put that somewhere safe so it's starting to dry. The next thing I want to do, and this is what I was telling you, that I've really been able to get back to some of my old favourites. Now look at this. This is a blast from the past. Hello, Lou. So this is Lou Collins. She did some gorgeous sentiment stamps with the matching dies. Now these are not very old. They must be, oh gosh, 4, 5 years old. So when Lou was doing a lot with her brush lettering, so I have picked the It's Your Day one, and I'm going to show you why I love these so much. Now this is your stamp, obviously, and it's going to cut your sentiment, and this is actually going to cut that out. It's not cutting out a matte layer. So let's just get that stamped, and I'll show you how it works. I'll show you why I love these stamps so much, because they're cut out. They're really thought about. Lou really thought about them when she was creating them and designing them. Not just with the brush lettering, but everything. Right, so I'm picking this up, and I have done it on a stamping platform for no other reason than I sometimes need to go in with a second coat of ink. I did find the first time it needed that second coat. So I'm using my quick dry ink because I love doing that for sentiments. Popping that down and then pressing all over there. Not bad, but could do with a little bit more depth. So I'm going to come back in and I'm just going to tap all over, make sure I get everything. There we go. I mean, even the apostrophe, everything, there's nothing missing on this. I'm just going to come up above, and then I'm just going to go and make sure it lines up. But I think that's looking pretty damn good. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Isn't that brilliant impression? So we're going to take that off here, off my stamping platform. And then I'm going to bring in the die. Now this die, as I said, isn't going to cut out the matte layer, it's going to cut out the detail. Normally you just get round the outside, but can you see Lou has put in all of these extra bits, and she's put in like little bridges. This die isn't going to buckle, it isn't going to twist. I think it's just so well made. And also things like, if I can show you, let me just get that tape down, and then I can show you the other bits that I love about this. So let me just put a bit of tape. Ooh, where are we? I just want to make sure it's lined up. It's worth taking your time, making sure it's a perfect fit. So if it isn't lined up, it's user error, not the fault of the stamp and die. There we go. Pressing down hard onto the waist, just there. And just there. Now look at this. She's even cut out the centre of the D. She's come in and she's cut out a little bit between these words. Really, really well made. I am loving these. So we can pop that onto here. Now I'm going to I think, do I need to, how many places? I will go in with my metal shim. So I've got my plastic shim, my magnetic shim, and that. Probably could have got away without my magnetic shim, but I'm just going to get that through to be quick. Now, I mentioned that it's only cut out the stamped image. You don't get a matte layer, but we can work that out. That's not a problem for us crafty people. So if you pop this on here, let me turn this round, and I can just pop that out. Now look at that. Look, I've got cut out, look at all these little extra bits that you would normally get as a solid matte layer, but no, they've all been cut out beautifully. Really, really well thought out product. I love them. Whether you can still get things like this on eBay and places like that, I'm not sure. Now the next thing I've done is I want the matte layer, but I don't have a matte layer die. So all I've done, that's my card, turn my card over because I've turned my die over, because that was the way I cut out. So I've turned that over, and I've just drawn around the outside there, and then I've cut it out. So if I turn it over, you can see, let me put it this way so you can actually see. All I've done is I've done a pencil line, and then I've cut on the outside of the pencil line, and that's because what you've got here, if I can show you, is that's your cutting blade. Oh, I've got a little bit of there. That's your cutting blade, and then you've got this little bit here, which is actually the width that you would have for your matte layer. So if you cut on this outside edge, you've naturally got that perfect layer. So when I bring this round, turn that back the other way, so the pencil's all on the back. That's why you turn it all over. When I turn that around, look at that. That will now fit perfectly on the matte layer. Now the other thing I want to do is, because it's linen card, I've just got one of my alcohol pens. Can you see I've got all these little white bits, which just sullies it that little bit, because that's why I love die cutting. That's why I'm a die cutter through and through, because you don't get this edges when you are die cutting. Now you can twist your scissors, but because I was cutting from the back, it's quite hard to do. So what I want to do is just come round with the pen, find the one that's the nearest colour. Remember, alcohol pens fade as they evaporate, so just, you know, if it's a bit paler, it's going to become paler still. So whilst this shows a little bit at the moment, once the alcohol has evaporated, it'll be a little bit paler. Now I've not got all of the bits, so what I'm going to do is go in with the pokey end, and I'm just going to come in just there. I'm just going to come down to there and there. And I promise you, once this is all dry and done, you won't see that at all, but it will just make it that bit better. So all I'm going to do then, let's get some wet glue. Did make sure this was working beforehand, and then we can come all the way over. So I'm not going to try and raise this in itself off the matte layer, because that's where madness lies, with all those little bits. I'm having fun with this today. I've been using this and it just keeps blocking. I'm going to have to just use my big bottle and be careful with it. because it just doesn't want to work at the moment today, that fine tip nozzle. I've cleared it and done it, but it's just doing. But as long as I'm careful, this bottle will be fine. There we go. All the way down to there and round. There we go. And then I can pop that onto here. So remember, we used the dye to create my matte layer, so I know it's going to be a perfect fit. Don't get too hung up about it. We're going to be putting lots of flowers on. You're not going to see that much of it actually around the edges, but I just think that's nice. And that means I can now pop some foam tape. Ooh, I've only got one piece left. That's all gone. Just literally ordered some more of that. But obviously it's not here for today. So we're going to make it do like this. So I'm going to pop a big piece on that side. It'll work. There we go. That's the last of that tape gone. Okay, so that's my sentiment. I'm not going to pop it on yet, but that's going to go, could go in the middle, could go over to the left. I'm going to put it over to the right, and you'll see why in a minute. So we're getting there, we're getting there. Now bring the card back, flowers, foliage, as much as you want. These are all made from paper card, just regular multi-purpose card, a little bit of linen, the little offcut of the linen from the sentiment, and then just some green bits I had. So really easy to do, and I love this because it means I can bring in my small die cutting machine, and I haven't cut any of the pink ones yet, so let's cut. I need 4 of the pink ones, so I'm going to just pop that onto here. Bear with me while I do this. I thought I would make all these flowers for you to see. I need to trim that down very slightly. Oh, is this gonna, am I going to get 4 out of here through here, or did I do them in my bigger one? Possibly did them in my bigger one, so I could use this whole piece of card. Oh, we can squeeze. Let's hope we can get them. If not, I'll have to quickly look for some more pink card. Let's see, 1. Ooh, that cutting that bit off didn't do me any favours. We can do it. We can do it. 2. Because remember, you've got the edge on your die. 1. Oh, look at that. Got 2 out. Right to the edge. Get rid of that. 3. Let's come right up here. I should just about get 1 more out of there. You'd be surprised how we can sneak flowers out of all sorts of places. But just look at whatever flower dies you've got. You've got lots of things. And I'm actually planning to do one with flower stamps as well. Oh, come on, Corinne, I really need 1 more. Now, if I look at that, that's going to work because the die hasn't got quite to the edge, even though the blade hasn't got quite to the edge, even though the die has. That's what I was trying to say. Let's go round through that one. And then look at that, really close. That's what I call efficient use of your card, isn't it, and your paper. That's what we like, little scraps. If you look at that, that's perfect, absolutely perfect. So put those back on here. Now, I have already cut a few bits out. Oops, I've cut them to my duster. So let's see what I've already cut out, and we can make them up. So I've already cut out a couple of larger ones in white. Then I've got the pink in the next size down. Then in the next size down, I've gone back to white again. So you can see those there. Yep, you can still see all those. Out of silver, I've cut a little bit of foliage. Now we're going to snip into that. I've cut a couple of centres that are going to go on this one in the silver. I had a little, I'm sure you, whatever flowers, you're going to have some of these little joined ones with flowers, whatever you can think of, and just cut out a few of here, and I've put a little pearl into the centre, and then I've cut some foliage and I've mixed it out of green, white with a bit of ink, and that's where we're going. So I just need to tip those off there because I need the mat. So all I want to do is ball tools. So whichever ball tool works for you. I've got, let's see if I can pick them up. I've got a nice selection here. These are ones that I've sort of acquired over the years, and you'll be able to find one that fits. So let's just come round here. There we go. So all start at the back. Oh, I tell you what I haven't done. I haven't inked it. I'm jumping ahead. Let's put some ink on it first. Let's put some ink. So I'm just using my water reactive inks, but I'm sure you've got plenty of different inks. I need to go through and see what inks I've got. And then I'm just going to put a little bit in the centre. So I'm just using my blending sponge, fold it up. You don't actually, why did I do that in pink? I wanted it in blue. That's okay. Corinne, you can do this. I'm too busy talking and not concentrating. That's okay. That is okay. Let's go blue on this one. Let's just turn that round. Blend it a little bit more. There we go. Now just remember, I'm going to put a pearl in the centre. Do you know, flowers never look that much until you have finished sorting them. So right, we can do that, and then I'll ink the others in a minute. Let's start shaping those, because these can then be drying. And the other one, always do a couple of, I like flowers with a couple of layers on. I like them with more layers than this even, but this will do for these ones. Then down the middle, and then I'm just going to get a little bit of my wet glue, put that on there, and then I'm going to stagger them. Always stagger. Get a ball tool and just press. So I've gone with a smaller ball tool. Can you see it? Just pressing. I'm almost exaggerating what I'm going to be doing, so you can see just pressing like that. Then I'm going to get my little centres, and they're here, so we can just shape those. If you don't shape them, they won't sit properly in there. So then I've got some tweezers. I've just had these soaking to get all the glue off. There we go. That's all the glue off. And then I can pick them up. Squeezy tweezers all the way for me. If you've watched me with many of my shows, you'll know that. One layer. I only did one layer in the other, but I've cut two for this. You'll have so many flower centres that you'll be able to use. And then just stagger. And then I do think it's nice to use a little bit of silver. Silver, you know, it's like abstract, isn't it? Again, just press hard with your ball tool. Let it shape. Use that mat. And then how about like that? Isn't that gorgeous? Now with the pinks, I haven't done any alcohol blending on them. I've just gone in with my ball tool. So I've gone round the back of them and just broken down those fibres all the way round. Now obviously they're the wrong way, so we just break down those fibres to begin with, just down there. Then I just, when I turn them over, just give them a little press in the centre. Turn that over and turn that over, and then it's just a case of glue in the centre of two. Oh, I tell you what I will do as well. I will just add in a little bit more definition. Just give them a little pinch with your pokey tool or with your ball tool. It's entirely, or with your fingers rather. It's entirely up to you. Just give them a little bit of shape, little bit of a pinch, just like that. And then when we stagger them, again, it's gone a little bit flat because of the work I've been doing to them. So I'm going to get my ball tool and I'm just going to press, and that glue will dry. I'm not sure that's centred. That was better. That glue will dry and it will hold it. It's amazing how robust. You see, I've not used any hot glue because I don't think I need it with paper at all. And they can become quite dimensional. And let's just give those a little bit of a shape. Just like that. I hope you're enjoying these videos. I'm sleeping, dreaming, eating videos at the moment. I really love it. It's what I'm thinking about as soon as I wake up. Or what can I be doing next? What techniques can I be showing? So I hope you are enjoying them, because I am putting a lot of thought into them. But it's been a really good distraction and I'm really, really enjoying it. So there we go. Press on that one. And that's going to go like that. And then I just got some little gems. Now, I carry this pot lives in my craft bag. So let's see what I can say. Oh, I've got white ones this time. I think I used pink ones last time, but I've just seen white. So I've just got lots of different gems. I've got those gems there. I have more gems than I care to. And that is just a fraction of the gems I have. You really would be a bit surprised if you saw how many I have. I just love these. These are all the ones without adhesive on the back. I've got a few with adhesive on the back, which I do like, but I've not got as many. There we go, on there. and on there as well. It's really coming into one of Corinne's projects now, isn't it, with the flowers. You know how much I love doing flowers, but it's not, I'm not into making really complicated, you know, I just want to keep them nice and simple. So that's where we've got to so far. I now want these 4 pieces of the smaller ones in white. That's where my pink ink pad came back in. So let's do what we need, what I've started doing on the others with the pink. And then I'm just going to grab a little bit of here. So it's just make sure my fingers are clean. Just go round in the centre and add just a nice smudge of pink. You'll probably find that when you finish, you want to go back in and add a little bit more. Now remember, you always need to go further than you think. Now the ones underneath actually don't need ink, but I just end up doing it because it's natural force of habit. So we can do that one, and let's just make sure there's plenty of ink on there. There we go. Right, that looks good, doesn't it? You'll notice I always have hook and loop on the back so that my dauber pads sit on there. So I'm going to take these exactly the same as we did before, turn them over, and this is where you just adjust the size of the ball tool that you're using to find one that works for the project you're doing. So obviously, you know, you've got your different sizes, but yeah, you can do that. If you haven't got a ball tool, you can just bend them with your hands. You can use the end of a paintbrush or a water brush or even a pencil or something like that. It all works. But what you're doing is you're breaking down those fibres, because like I say, this is a 300 GSM cardstock, so it's going to be pretty robust. Pop that like that, and then I'm going to put a little bit of glue in there. Now don't worry like that where the glue's showing, because all these sort of PVA water-based glues dry nice and clear, so it'll dry clear by the time it's finished. Put that in the centre, small ball tool, and just give it a shape. Actually, I've got an even smaller one just there, which I find quite useful for things like that. So it lets me shape, and then I put glue on that one so I can shape on, put that one on there, and again shape just a little bit, pressing quite firm just to give time for that glue to grab. And then I'm going to go in, and I'm going to go in with some of my white pearls. So again, now when I did this, what I find quite useful sometimes is just to put a little bit of glue on a piece of scrap card, and then grab myself, pop one on the bit of glue, and then, oops, that's turned over. There we go. That'll fit in there perfectly. You need to grab it in the right way. There. And then pop that into the centre, just there. Give it a minute. Once it's had just a few minutes, you can even just press down on there to help shape it, and the card will then come up around the edges of that pearl. I'm just going to put that on, otherwise those pearls are going to go everywhere. I'm going to keep that because I might need that in a minute. So I've now got my flowers, I've got my foliage, it's all here. I've got my little blue flowers, which are just single layers with a pearl in the centre and a little bit of shaping. I've probably got more than I need. So we can now be putting it all together. Let's move these out of the way to give me a bit more room. Let's bring that just to there so you can still see that. And I'm going to bring in my card just there. Don't think I'm going to need those, so I can move those out of the way. Right, so make sure my card's the right way up. You remember I put foam tape on the back of there. I'm going to take off the back. The great thing about this foam tape is it does release its backing really easily. Now, everything I'm going to do now, I'm going to be doing with, this is my Pinflair 3D glue. I love this one because it's clear and it doesn't have a smell. So I'm going to put some there, so it's going to give me wiggle room. Because I didn't have as much foam tape as I perhaps should have done, I'm just going to put a little bit on here. So using this, you are going to have to put this card away or put it to one side for, you know, till tomorrow. I always think, I don't know when you're making it, but my rule of thumb is till tomorrow. And I'm going to put that there. Now, again, I brought it over to the right and I brought it towards the top. Because if you're not going to go back smack bang in the middle, then you need to make sure it's significantly off. Now we're not actually going to see much of this texture, but it's just about having it there. I'm going to bring that down so I don't have to keep putting my hand in front. And again, I'm going to use my 3D glue because it just means I've got time to adjust. Don't go over your sentiment, which is what I did the first time I was putting this together. I was like, oh no, Corinne, that doesn't work. I can't read the sentiment. Now, the other thing is, don't put a gap between your flowers. You want to sort of push them together. It needs to almost like be a continuous cascade. And if you do that, it will look better. Yeah, you're probably going to need more flowers, but you'll get a much nicer effect. So we can pop that one on there. Then I'm going to come in with the smaller ones. And I'm going to pop those just here. Now, look at this. Looks lovely, but it's definitely missing something. All right, it's very clean. It's very, clean and simple. I mean, yeah, I like that. But you know what I always say, you need your foliage to ground these things down. So I'm going to start off with my silver. So start with the largest first. And I'm going to actually just trim into that one, because these little bits would be hidden underneath when I tucked it in. So I don't want to waste them. So I'm going to take that, and then I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue under there. And then I'm going to pop, oh, excuse my arm, but and this is the other reason why I've used something like my pin flare, because I can lift and adjust. I didn't even need to put glue under there, because what had happened is it's actually going through the glue that I put down for the flowers. Everything will stick, I promise. And then I can then go in with another one. Just, yeah, right, I am going to put a little bit of glue on the back of there. And then I'm going to pop that one. So I'm sort of bringing it right round, aren't I? Can you see? So straight away, it's already starting to look better. Then I'm going to just keep going with my foliage. Remember, tuck it in. Now you can go off the top of your card at the top, or at the sides. Just don't come off the bottom, because if you come off the bottom, it's not going to stand up. Now this one goes in the right direction for me to put this one just here. Again, I've got plenty of room to adjust. Oh, I tell you what, I will now put a few more bits of foliage in first. If you're putting it where there's no flour or glue, just put a little bit of glue on the back. Can you see? It just grabs. Really easy to do. Like I said, I think I've got more foliage than I'm probably going to need. Do I need another one? No, I think I quite like them. Let's just pop a couple of white ones in. I'm just going to grab my second glue gel. I did get two ready because I thought I might need it. Let's put that one under here. Quite like that white coming out from under the white. We need another white one, otherwise it's just going to look strange to have one. Let's go just here. Oh, it wasn't a white one. That was the one that I paint coloured. All right, that's fine. Right, so the last bit I need to do is to come in with these blue flowers. They have sort of lost a bit of their curve. So let's go back in with those ball tools. Where's that really little? Oh, right there. So all I need to do is just press back on there, press on there, and that should just help to shape them up a little bit. They should remember what I've done. That shaping I've already done. So let's just come on. There we go. Bring them back up. Bring back up those shapes. There we are. Right. Definitely tweezers for this. And then it's just a case of popping them in. Popping them wherever you want them to go. Fill in any little gaps. Let's get in with some little ones. Up at the top. Every time you make this, it's going to be slightly different, isn't it? Every single time. No two cards will ever be the same. And that's what I love. You're just going to have originality and slightly different every time. Let me lift that so you can see. Oh, I've got a little one just there, look. There we go. Just keep popping those flowers on. Now that one wants to come down here because it's a tiny, teeny one. Let's do that. Let's go for that mid-size one. And again, these are just those pearls that you saw me put in the centre of there. I need one around here somewhere. And you see how they just fill all those little gaps. Now, the last little bit I'm going to do is I'm going to put a few pearls on. You could be using your liquid pearls if you want. But I thought we'd come back in with this little bit of wet glue and my pearls here. Let's unscrew those. And then we can just pop on a couple like this. We can pop one they oops, I do have a really nice picky uppy tool for my pearls, but I haven't got it out and it would take me too long to find it right now, and I'm nearly there. So I'm going to do 3 top, 3 bottom, and that should do. Look at my hands. Quick dry ink is brilliant, but if you touch the ink pad or you touch it when it's on the stamp, it doesn't have marky hands. 3 on there. Come on. Are they nice and straight? Ooh, glad that was done up. Nearly just dropped that. That one isn't. Is that straight? I think it is. It's straight in. Oops, the daisy gone over that glue. Let's just put a little bit more glue on there. There we go. And I'm going to turn that round. We're going to put 1. We're going to do, oh, there we are, perfect. I've got 2 out. Just to do, if you don't have much space, then just put 1 down here. Now don't worry about the little bits of glue, because I promise you, as soon as it's dry, it won't be visible. Just try not to get too much glue on the backs of your pearls. But you can see, just like that. And that is my next project. Do you like it? This is just a little bit of me. Oh, that's lifted up. Little bit of me. Love doing this. Love showing you this. The great thing is, look, you can still keep adjusting it and change the sentiment. Like I say, I've used a really old set of sentiments I've had for quite a while, but if you've got anything, it might be a die cut, just do 2 layers on there. It might be a stamp that you can do like I've done and just cut yourself a mat and layer to go with it. But I hope you like that. That one makes me really happy. So until next time, crafty friends, I hope you've enjoyed it, and please let me know what you think of this project. See you soon. Bye.